Welcome to the Blogger Genius Podcast, brought to you by MiloTree. Here's your host, Jillian Leslie.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I hope you are doing well in these uncertain times. Before I get started, I wanted to speak to those of you who are listening to the podcast who are ready to start their businesses, but they haven't yet because they have not set up a WordPress blog yet as what I like to call the hub of their business so that they can build the spokes off of it. Now, David and I talk about this all the time. Technology is tricky, and having somebody help you who understands it is a really good thing. So therefore, we would love to help you set up your WordPress blog. And not only will we set it up, we will optimize it, we will install the plugins that you need, and we will explain everything to you, and we'll be there for any technical questions you have. Honestly, I really highly recommend this to anybody who's ready to get started. To learn more, head to MiloTree.com/BlogStart. And again, that's MiloTree.com/BlogStart. If you have any questions about this, please reach out to me at Jillian@MiloTree.com. Our goal is to put more online entrepreneurs out there in the world. This is a perfect time to take your fate into your own hands, and we really want to support you. So for today's episode, I have Adam Riemer on the show, and he is an email marketing expert. As you'll learn, I was at a conference, I met him, and he had some really interesting strategies around email marketing. And when I heard him, I said, oh my God, please come on the show. I think you are going to think about your list very differently after listening to this episode. So without further delay, here is my interview with Adam Riemer. Adam, I am very excited to have you here and to pick your brain about email marketing.
Oh, thanks for having me.
We met at Pubcon, which is a conference I'd never heard of. And then I saw that it was going to be in Austin. And then I was in Austin. Now I live here, and I just happened to come into your session, the email marketing session, just as you were about to talk, and you started talking, and I thought to myself, I've got to interview this guy for my show.
Well, thank you.
And the reason why you piqued my interest was because you showed a slide and you said something like, I'm this email marketing guy. This is what I do. And ready? You said, I don't send emails to my list.
Yeah.
And right then I had like one of those, like a brain explosion. Like, what? What are you talking about? So first of all, before we launch into that, will you give me a little bit of your background and how you got interested in online marketing, especially email?
Yeah, so I was actually filling in for someone else who canceled on the email session because I've helped people with their email marketing for years. I think my first email presentation was close to 10 years ago.
Okay.
And I started in digital marketing unofficially in the 90s when I was putting up websites and looking for traffic from like Lycos and other engines. And professionally in 2001 or 2003, somewhere around there. And everything just kind of led from SEO and affiliate into other channels, because with the affiliate marketing world, I had to come across emailers and spam cam compliant. Oh my gosh, I can't talk today. Can spam compliance, as well as how to monetize them, how to segment the list. And then with the company I was working for at the time, I was in charge of their email program as well as their pay-per-click and their SEO and their affiliate program. It was a smaller company. So I had to learn fast, and I really like the way that you can split test things. At that point, it was one of the few channels where you can really track everything. We had ClickTail for the website, but email was a place where I could really get granular with links and how people were interacting and engaging with the actual piece of content that we had created. And that's what I kind of loved about it. Plus,
so you're talking about links within email.
Yes.
You could see what people were clicking on and how people then were interacting, let's say, on the website that it sent people to?
Everything in between. So ClickTail was tracking the website, and then you could use parameters. At that point, I think, this was even possibly pre-Urchin. but which became Google Analytics.
Okay.
But yeah, we had a bunch of different tools and things that we could do at the time, and it was really fun and really neat.
Really? Okay. And what were you like in the beginning? What were cool things that you could see people doing?
Hovering and clicking and bouncing and engaging with two or three different links or pieces of content or topics, but not others, and skipping things. So I could really start to figure out who was going to do what and when. And then I could predict it, and I could
Interesting.
segment the database and email specific topics and specific calls to action and build a funnel much easier.
So is it this idea that you want to figure out how to get the right message in front of the right person, but at the right time? Like those three things seem hard to triangulate.
Not really. It's just using
You know?
data. That's the
Okay.
job of every marketer.
Okay. Yes, absolutely. All right. So let's talk about then what, okay, when you said this thing about email is really powerful and you're not sending emails to your list, what do you mean by that?
So just like we were laughing at the show, I tend to be incredibly antisocial, where I just kind of like to be in my own world. And when I send an email, I always get people writing back to me. And I love hearing from people that subscribe and that read my site. But I get so nervous to respond and write back. And I don't know, I read all of them, but I get nervous. So I was like, how can I get in front of my audience again without having to open up that line of communication, especially when I'm just completely swamped, like during the
When you're,
holiday,
sorry, when you're what?
completely swamped, like during Q4 holiday promotions, or when I'm about to go on vacation and I'm not going to have my computer. How can I prevent a couple hundred emails from coming in
Got
that
it.
I'm going to feel obligated to respond to?
Right. And people are asking of you in those emails.
Yeah, and I don't charge anything for my blog or my email newsletters. I rarely send them anymore, but they're free. So it's like I'm not being paid. I'm doing this. I want to give back to the community. Community as in marketing community. So yeah,
Okay.
I mean, that's kind of like it's just a way I can give back. So it gets annoying when people start making demands too. So I found a
Okay.
way that I could still reach them and still provide some value to them without having to open up that time suck.
Okay. So tell me what this secret process is all about.
There really isn't any. I look for where I can use an email list. So some of the major platforms are Facebook, Pinterest, and Google. Bing is
Mm,
opening theirs up shortly, as we found out.
okay.
So you can go there and then you can start using their targeting and their triggers and their different features to really narrow down your audience. So if you have your database set up so that you know XYZ people like affiliate marketing, and these people like cooking, and these people like cats, for example, you can start
Okay.
to just upload those email addresses and then you can narrow it down. I only want to show it to the subscribers here that enjoy cats and the color blue and maybe live in the western part of the United States. Well, now I can do that because, and if my article's written specifically for that type of demographic, I can show it that way. But the same can be applied for anything, for products or for lead gen. If you need to help a sales rep out in the West Coast, you can do the same thing and you can narrow your list down. You can then, there's a lot of different things you can do with it.
Okay. So let's break this down. Let's say I use ConvertKit, right, as my kind of CRM. Like let's say that's my level as a blogger.
Okay.
So what I'm doing is I'm putting up some lead magnets on my site. Let's say I'm a lifestyle blogger. So I do travel and food and family. And so therefore if somebody comes to my site on a recipe, I have a lead magnet. Boom, they download it and they get placed on a in a list on my list. But I tag them, food or recipes. And so then what I can do is go into ConvertKit, download those email subscribers that let's say live in the South, but I don't know if I would have that information, but let's say I know they're interested in food. I have that list and then I can upload that list, let's say to Pinterest where I do a lot of food stuff. And I can then target those people with my cookbook.
Yeah, I mean, you can even take it 10 levels deeper. You can
I
sit
mean,
there and you can take anyone who signed up off of your recipe. If it was kids recipes versus meat recipes versus organic or vegan or paleo recipes. You can now go in, and so let's just pretend it was kids recipes or kid-friendly recipes. What you can do now is you can take the next generation book and you could upload and start showing ads to sell those, or you can use a lead magnet where you would show part of a recipe and say, and here's how to take it 3 levels deeper, or get the full download here for like $2 or $5 or whatever you want to charge, and you could resell. Or you could sit there and if you want to say, okay, this is a parent because they're looking for kid-friendly recipes, why not take it and see if they also like crafting and say, you took our recipes guide 3 weeks ago. I just wanted to see if you're also interested in crafting for Valentine's Day.
Where am I messaging them that?
With the ads. So once you upload your email address or your email list to one of those platforms, you want to show the ads for something complimentary or a next generation. So if you had a photography guide on your list, for example, I know a lot of lifestyle bloggers do sell photos and do have step-by-step on how to shoot or keep a memory with your iPhone, for example.
Right.
Basically, if you teach a technique or how to like use portrait mode, well, there's always going to be an advanced level too. So if you gave them that one or they bought it from you, and now that the new iPhone's out, why don't you upsell or cross-sell? You purchase this. My cat's like attacking the computer. Sorry.
That's okay. That's funny.
But basically what you can do is you can take the next generation guide or next level course or a complimentary one, like maybe how to shoot portraits in black and white and do the lighting with your iPhone. Well, you already know their phone model or you know what they're interested in. So you can cross-sell the next generation guide and make some money off of it.
Got it. So I target those specific people that I have tagged on my end, upload their email addresses. So it could be a small number of people, but then I can make sure that my stuff is in front of them because I know they have an iPhone.
Yep.
I know they have an iPhone that has portrait mode, so it's at least an iPhone 10.
Yes, and they have an interest in learning how to take a better photo. So that's a really important factor, is that they have some sort of interest in photography or they are taking photos for a reason, whether it's memories or to sell prints. And then that's where it gets really interesting because you can set up affinity groups, also likes Fujifilm, also likes Canon or Leica or whatever that camera company's name is. So there's a lot of ways that you can do this and you can start to test.
And what platforms, in terms of their ad targeting, do you like the best?
It depends on the goal and the product. So you mentioned Pinterest earlier.
So my users use Pinterest a lot.
Then Pinterest is fantastic.
Okay, so aspiration for Pinterest. What about Facebook?
Facebook just gives you a lot of different demographics, but it changes regularly. So anyone in real estate basically just lost all of their targeting no matter what. And some niches lost their ability to upload a list. Because I believe there was a lawsuit by HUD that they lost.
Okay.
So it's just really going to depend on your niche. Google's a fantastic one because you can break down by median income, demographics, zip codes. It also feeds into YouTube, so you can show over specific channels or keywords. It's really going to depend on the focus of the campaign, but it works for all types of bloggers, from entrepreneurial bloggers and how to make money online to recipes, travel, lifestyle. I was working with a sex dungeon blogger.
With a what? Sorry, say that again.
Dungeon blogger.
A sex dungeon blogger.
She works in some of my in my lingerie affiliate programs. She's She provides a clean and safe place for couples that want to experience a different thing.
Okay.
And so she provides safe how-to tutorials and guides for bondage and S&M and how not to hurt yourself, how to create a safe environment.
Got it.
Yeah, so
okay.
It's not as bad as it sounds. There's not.
I know. I like it. I like it. So, I think my audience will like to hear this. Okay, so let's go through.
There's strategies you can use literally across the board. I was working with a special needs autism blogger doing the same type of, not the same type of thing, but the same strategy, how you can use the platform. That way, you're helping parents of the kids, not targeting kids directly.
Let's go back to the bondage woman, because that's a little more interesting, a little more titillating. Can you explain how, break down her funnel? What does it look like?
So that I can't, because it's going to be easy to track her down if I do.
Okay, let's do autism or random. Give me a random, situation.
If you want to pick a product or a niche or a goal, then I could create it that way.
Okay. So how about, okay, I sell special needs ebooks,
Okay.
like ADHD.
Okay, and you want to use your email list, or do you just want to talk about how to target down?
Well, let's start with my email list. So what I do is I have a freebie on my site and it's a guide to calming my child with ADHD. These are 10 tips.
Okay. So,
And
yeah.
sorry, and let's say then I have a course that I want to sell.
Okay, cool. So there's two different options you could try here. One, if they're already on your email list and you know they've been engaging with you, it's going to be a pretty easy sell because they like your content. If there's someone new on the list, I may want to test to figure out what the best approach is. So I may try another email list, or I may advertise different blog posts and articles to them. And by that, I mean, I might take, so maybe there's something about helping ADHD with a fidget, helping ADHD. I'm not a medical doctor or anything, so I'm making this up off the top.
Totally. Yep.
With sensory friendly clothing, or
Yep.
like sending your kid to having the teacher, how to talk to your teacher about providing weighted vests and weighted pads so the
Yep.
child can sit at their desk more calmly and easily.
Yep.
And then from there, I would sit there and I'd say, okay, which one are these people interacting with? And I would set those up as custom audiences in Facebook, or I would look at which ones they're clicking through from my email tool if I sent an email. And now I know the right way to lead them into the course. If I have a course about weighted products, and I have a course about fidget products, and I have a course about, what was the first one? Whatever that was.
Right. Let's say essential oils.
Okay.
To calm my kid.
Essential oils works too. So maybe lavender and vanilla.
Right.
And so basically what we would do then is I would phrase the wording in the ad around the course to that, re-upload the list for which one they engaged with, which ad set. Now I bring them into the course since I know what they are interested in most. And I'm going to feature, would you like to learn how to control ADHD using essential oils? We also cover fidgets and weighted products.
I love this.
And I build a funnel based on their wants and needs. And the best part is you're able to promote products and you can get sponsors from the. So if you get 100 people ready for the course, there's no reason you can't reach out to an essential oils diffuser or a weighted blanket company or a fidget company or a behavioral therapist if it's targeted geo, like if you're doing
right.
And now you can get sponsors to pay for it all, so you can make money and I mean, there's just so many different things you can do. You can also follow up with affiliate links for all of the products featured.
Right. But what I like about what you're saying is there are lots of different parents with kids with ADHD, and each one is somewhat different, or there could be buckets, right? So there are the ones who love essential oils and want that as a strategy. There's the other ones who want the weighted blankets and find that their kid responds to that. But what I love is you are targeting that message you're targeting both of them to join my course. But you're doing it in this very granular way of saying, I know you don't like us. I know you're not responding to essential oils, but you're responding to weighted blankets. So I'm going to talk about weighted blankets as a way to get you into my course. And I'm going to talk to you about essential oils to get you into my course.
Yeah. And even though the course covers all three topics, we're focusing the first one on what they were most interested in. And because they were on your blog, from the ad using your email list, you've now become they already trust you a little more. One, they've already subscribed. Two, they've been to your blog at least twice now. The first time to subscribe, the second time to read your article. So if they're clicking a third time, they're familiar with your brand and they trust you. And now they can actually ask questions from you about the article they just read.
So do you recommend
strategies?
Say that last thing again.
And they can now learn 2 more strategies that may or may not work for their children, but at least it's more for their arsenal of ways to help their children.
Imagine growing your Instagram followers with no work. Highly engaged followers. Now imagine it with Pinterest, Facebook, YouTube. How about new email subscribers? Seriously, no work. This is all possible if you install the MiloTree pop-up on your blog. David, my husband, and I started our blog, Catch My Party, in 2009. We've since grown it into the largest party ideas site on the web with millions of page views per month. We did it with hard work and our secret weapon, our MiloTree pop-up, which David built for us. We've grown our Pinterest followers to over 1.3 million and our Instagram followers to over 164,000. And right now, 8,000 other bloggers just like you are using MiloTree to grow their businesses. With MiloTree, you can focus on growing one platform or switch between several. But here is the important thing. If you aren't converting your visitors into followers, subscribers, and customers, you're honestly wasting your own traffic. Make this asset, your visitors, work for you. Since we're bloggers, we get bloggers. So we've optimized MiloTree like crazy. It's a snap to install. It won't slow your site down. It's Google friendly on mobile. And it's so darn cute. You can even add animated sparkles to your pop-up if you like. Sign up now and get your first 30 days for free. Please pause this episode and head to milotree.com to sign up. I know you will thank me. As a bonus, once you sign up, I'm going to send you weekly actionable business tips to help you grow your business. I've been at this a long time and I have a lot to share. Remember, your scarcest resource is not money, it's time. So let MiloTree free up time for you so you can focus on the other important parts of your business. So what are you waiting for? Hit pause, head to MiloTree, and sign up today. So do you recommend that on each of your blog posts having a very specific opt-in? Or do you recommend a more general opt-in? We're going to talk about ADHD, or we're going to talk about the 10 best essential oils for ADHD on the essential oil page post.
I would recommend going as granular as you can without going overboard. So based off of the categories on your blog, if you have 4 blog categories, we'll just call them A, B, C, and D. You can have a message for your opt-in box on all posts within category A that's relevant to it. So if that's essential oils, learn more about essential oils and how they can help your children succeed. If B is weighted products, you may want to say, looking for weighted products deals as well as unique strategies and ways to use them. Here's how you join our newsletter for more information. And now you have a targeted message and your database is more targeted and easy to divide up.
Got it, because I think even I fall into this, which is I have general opt-ins, but I'm not thinking as granularly.
You can normally find a way to track the posts that they opted in from as well.
Now let's elevate up a little bit. Like, what if I have an email list and it's cold? And I haven't really been very consistent in emailing my list or thinking strategically about this. Do you feel like there's any value in a cold email list?
Absolutely, because even if they don't open their emails, if that's the email they use to sign up for Facebook, that's where your ads are going to show.
Ooh, okay. So what about this idea then of culling your list?
So I highly recommend you always call. But if you're not really getting a response from that but you're like, I know these people are there, you can always say, hey, if you know that they opted in because of a guide you wrote 5 years ago, and then you just went silent for the last 3 years, you can say, I write a new guide and then advertise that guide. If it was for a baby, if it was for someone pregnant who was having the baby that year, they have a 5-year-old child. So think about 5-year-old issues or 5-year-old party ideas or something that a parent of a 5-year-old is going to want or need. And now create the next level guide, which is that, and see if they'd like to opt back in. And that's a way to grow your list and find your actives instead of just deleting someone who could be a new potential customer.
So you're saying email them. Email them.
No, run your ads for the new guide to come back and download it. And now you know who's downloaded and you have your list again. But
interesting.
Because babies grow. That's kind of an obviously, sorry.
Oh, it is true.
Yeah, it's true.
And their needs change.
Yeah. Yep. So someone who just had a baby but's not having more, they don't care about what stroller is going to be there for a newborn.
Right.
And this is just a good way to continue to grow your list.
Got it. Okay. So what you would do I have a cold list. You're right. Somebody signed up 5 years ago. I haven't emailed my list in 3 years. I upload my email list to what platform would you recommend if I want to re-engage them with an ad
All
and
of
a
them.
free demo? All of them.
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, some are going to be better than others, but there's no reason you can't show an ad across. If your goal is to figure out what's going to be live and who's still interested in your type of brand and your type of products, why not just go for the mass reach?
Okay. So I go for mass reach and I see which of these. Now, do I care if they know who I am? Like they don't remember they signed up for my list 5 years ago. Does that matter?
You'd be amazed how good people's memories are sometimes, but no, it doesn't really matter. Some of the platforms do ask that you verify their active customers, so you are going to run into a potential risk there.
Okay.
But they could
Okay.
change those rules at any time, so I don't want to say any one of them in particular.
Now, can I do this cost effectively? I'm a blogger. I'm a one woman operation. And you're telling me go run ads on Google and Facebook and Pinterest. Like, how do I make that work for me?
It's not expensive on Facebook. You can show ads to your list for pennies on the dollar.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
I'd say
Okay.
give
So these
yourself a
aren't like
$5
conversion.
test. Run it for Monday to Friday and just run $5, $1 a day.
And do you think I would reach a fair number of people?
Depends on your list size and how many of them use that email address for their Facebook accounts.
And these are like awareness campaigns?
Yeah, you're just seeing who's still active, if the email addresses are being used, if these people are on Facebook. You may find out none of them use Facebook and instead they just use Pinterest.
Got it.
Like if
So
you're in
you
the
would
crafting niche, you're going to have a Pinterest following and a Pinterest audience.
absolutely. But
So
you don't have to go in because again, I hear lots of different things, which is if you want to do ads, you need to test and you need to spend money to test. So you have to assume that you're going to kind of be in the hole for a while until things start, until you start learning.
well, if we're just talking about getting our list and trying to get people to reactivate on the list just to see who's active or not, then you're guaranteed a loss because you're not trying to sell anything or make money off of it yet.
Right.
So figure out what you're willing to lose.
Okay, but you're saying though that each re-engagement, you're not going to be spending $6 to get that customer back or to get that email subscriber back.
I don't know. It depends how good you are at advertising. It depends on your ad copy, your images, if you still resonate with them.
Mm, mm.
It's everybody's different. Some people are great with ad copy and imagery. Some people are not. Some people know how to reach their audience. Some people think they do. And
Hmm.
some people just don't.
Yep. Yep. Now let's talk about when you are crafting an email. Okay, and I know you don't like writing them, but there are these different schools of thought. One is that it needs to be personalized, like hi Jill, blah blah blah, like that's very important. Another thing is you don't want to have multiple links in your email because you want, say, one call of action. So what are your thoughts on that as we start there?
Well, I think one link in your email alone is probably one of the worst ideas you can have. You're making it not
Ooh, tell
user
me.
friendly. But I do things two different ways. If I'm doing mass appeal and it's not something I would want someone to actually really pay close attention to, I'm just going to say hi everyone or hello beautiful or what's up y'all, something like that. If I want the subscriber to feel like this is a personal message or something more important, I do include the first name because it does tend to get more open rates. But it's also like, so the affiliates in my programs know that if their first name's in there, this is something that I feel a little more strong about. And I'm going to
But
change the wording from thank you all from this to thank you for doing this. So the wording is going to
right.
be different as well. And that has an impact. And a lot of people forget that.
Okay.
But like they'll say,
Now,
hi, first name. All of our
right.
affiliate partners are doing this. And all of this, like,
Right.
no, that makes no sense. Or all of you recipe lovers. And it's like, you just said hi, first name. So why don't you write to me directly instead of hello, subscribers? Or if you have a branded name for your followers.
Right.
So
Right.
that's an important part. The comment about the one link,
Yeah.
I just did this with a client. I was like, you mentioned X, Y, and Z in the beginning. I'll just say party planning, recipe planning, and meal planning are maybe their
Yep.
top three things. You providing, and this is in their responder once you opt in. They mention all three of those things, but don't link to them for a similar reason
Mm.
to what you just said. Like, but you just said you have all these available. Why don't you want these people to go to those tools, download your app, and download these and engage with it? If you're mentioning it because it's your service, help the subscriber find it. It's user experience.
Now, what if though I'm selling, let's say, okay, I say, yeah, I've got meal plans and I've got this and I've got that, but I really want to sell this one thing. Is that a distraction?
Anything not related to the sale or pre-selling it or giving a reason to purchase is a distraction and shouldn't be there. But if it's going to add to the experience, like if you're like, are you looking for the specs and what it's compatible to, take it to a specs page that's directly relevant to it for the product, and then put them into your funnel where they can purchase from that page.
Got it.
If you want to sell a product, make it about that product and the benefit to the end user. And if there's questions that come up regularly, like I just said with compatibility, include that in and provide a resource to help reassure them it's the right one.
Interesting. Now, okay, so my husband is my partner, and he is very much, he always feels like the more fields you ask, the they're like, it's like doors you have to pass through, and you're always going to lose people in that process. So his instinct is not to ask for somebody's, say, first name, because you will get fewer signups. And what is your feeling about that?
So for the opt-in box, I always want first name, last name, and email. Anything else for me is optional. Yeah, people don't want to fill it out, but you can make it a lot more personal and a lot more engaging, and I like to know who people are. And
so you think
giving them a valid reason to contact you, a first name and last name is not going to really drive that many away.
Okay, so if I'm providing value to you, you're willing to give that up.
Yeah, and you can reinforce, we're not going to spam you, we're not going to sell your data, as long as you're legitimately not going to, and put that in your privacy policy and the terms of use on your website. I had it written into mine.
Interesting.
And I have two awesome lawyers that work with bloggers and are affordable for them.
Oh, so if people want will you share those names with me after?
Yeah, totally. I can do it now if you want.
Okay, please.
Slade Cutler is number one. He's based in Austin, Texas, and his law firm is Whitliff and Cutler, Whitliff and Cutter. And Jaime Hack Lieberman, she's fairly well known in the blogging community. She's based out of New Jersey, and her company is #legal.
Okay.
They both can do this stuff. They do it day in and day out.
Got it. Now, what about this idea of, and I fall into this, I need to just email my list for them like to provide value, but it's not pointed value. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not necessarily strategic enough. Like, I'm like, oh, I just need to just let them know that, let's say I want to talk about productivity and I want to share something that I do for productivity just to help them. Is that a valid thing, or should I take it another level that somehow this is always going to lead to a sale?
Well, keeping them engaged by keeping them informed or giving them new ideas, that's keeping your audience ready so that when you're ready to sell them a product, they're more inclined and they trust you. It's just building their trust in you, which can build your influence over them.
Okay. And now what about that? Okay. So in that respect, it's like, okay, good for me for doing that. Because again, I want to build that trust. I really, if I want to help them genuinely, I want to convey that in my emails. Like, this is not a give to get. This is just, I found this new tool to help with productivity, and I want to share that.
Yeah, that's essentially what you're doing. That's how you build trust. That's how when you really fall in love with a tool and you want to make some money from it, you can say, this is why I love this. And I know that you legitimately love it. And people get nervous about disclosing relationships, especially with affiliate links, which is ridiculous. I know for a fact when I promote an affiliate product and I disclose this is it, I get more click-throughs and more engagement.
Really?
Yep. And I have a lot of other partners that have had the same experience.
Do you think it's because you seem honest?
Yeah.
Okay, so in emails, I get these emails, these sales, these kind of trying to warm me up emails. Let's say somebody wants me to buy their course or something, and literally they are novels. It is let me tell you about my cat, and let me tell you about this and whatever. And I have to say, personally, I have a bias against those emails. I want direct, to the point. I don't need to know your whole life story. So what is your thought about that?
It's going to depend on the audience. I wish I had a better one for you. I've seen people swear it works, then I look at the results, I'm like, that's not working. But it's just going to depend. Some audiences like certain messages and types, some don't. Okay, so it's really then about testing. Yeah, I'm on the same side as you, where I hate long, drawn-out things. I'm just like, get to the point.
That's what I want. I want to know how much it is.
Yesterday, I asked them 5 yes or no questions, and I specified, answer yes or no. They would not. So I said, we will not be talking.
Yeah. Okay. So that's okay. So there is no right answer about that.
No, knowing your audience and knowing how they resonate, but also not pretending you do. Because in that one case where someone sends these gigantic ones, I'm like, you have an okay rate. It's below average. You don't have that much engagement. And nobody's really clicking on the bottom unless they're unsubscribing. So maybe you should try something short and direct, or something a little, or give them the option. Do you want the synopsis, or do you want to click through and read the whole thing?
Right. And put that content someplace else. Yeah. Okay, so what about adding images into your emails, or adding GIFs?
What I like to do is so GIFs can tend to be really heavy in weight.
Yes.
So just compress the heck out of them. But basically what I would do is I would say, why did they sign up, and how do I keep that same feeling and thought and emotion from my site that caused them to want to give me their information? And how do I keep that consistent inside my newsletters? So that's just how I would do it.
Again, so it's knowing your audience. And it is consistency.
Yeah, and then as they come back to your website, it's a consistent branding and it's a consistent experience, so that it's just that same feeling and you keep them attached.
Okay, well, Adam, if people want to learn more about you, not necessarily reach out to you, but learn more about you, how can they do that?
They can go to adamriemer.me.
Okay, will you spell that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's ADAMRIE, M as in Matthew, ER.me. M as in Matthew, E.
Got it. Okay, and they can kind of peruse all your musings on online marketing.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and it was great meeting you.
I hope you liked that episode with Adam. I thought it was super interesting how he thinks about slicing and dicing an email list and really finding the people in it who are interested in buying what you're selling, what kinds of messaging works for different people, and how to test that. It just really opened my eyes to new ways of thinking about my email list and the power of my email list. If you are liking this show, please do me a favor. I'd be so grateful. Head to iTunes and give us 5 stars. It will help get the podcast found. It will help it grow so I can get more amazing guests on it, and share it. Share it with your friends, people who you think would benefit. I would be so, so grateful. And I'll see you here again next week.